Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this NXT breakdown video. So the show started, I thought, in a really exciting place. We were actually in the production office where we don't normally see, and it turns out that this is in the warehouse next door to the Performance Center, which is a warehouse I didn't even know they had. I actually don't know where the talent train. I know it's in that area. I believe it's like a warehouse that's close by, but I couldn't tell you exactly where. Seems like it might be in that warehouse, which is just next door. So I didn't know that. I thought that was kind of interesting to find out. Obviously, Trick was livid. He just wanted Ricky Saints. He's absolutely livid that he didn't win that match at Halloween Havoc. And so there was a lot of disruption from Trick during this show. And obviously that would ultimately pay off at the very end of the show. But yeah, he would get in the ring. He would demand that he get Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints, of course, would come out. We would have to get security guards trying to separate these two. And as we said, that's how the show began. I thought it was good. I thought it was energetic. I thought it was exciting. It grabbed my attention. Felt like a really compelling opening. And as we said, it did ultimately lead somewhere as well. Then we had Rayo and Bravo watching in the stands. That's because our first match was the Speed Tournament final. This was Axiom against Jasper Troy. Winner, of course, going on to face El Grande. And it was Jasper Troy that got the victory. He faces El Grande in 2 weeks' time. I thought this match was okay. You lot weren't really blown away by it in our live watch-along. I think they're too short. It does feel like these matches should be 5 minutes, and then maybe the title match maybe like 8 minutes. 3 minutes does feel really, really short, but it was okay. It was fine for what it was, and that sets up a title match. I think actually Jasper Troy stands a really good chance of winning that title, because I don't think they've really got plans for El Grande to be defending that Speed Championship in NXT on a regular basis. So probably dropping it to someone that's around a little bit more frequently probably makes sense. So Jasper Troy probably stands a good chance in a few weeks. This was big. This is a big segment. So Sol Ruca was given the option of having someone defend this Speed Championship on her behalf or vacating it. She kind of looked at Zaria and decided to vacate it, right? So Sol Ruca vacates the Women's Speed Championship due to injury. Ava did offer her the chance to have someone defend that belt on her behalf, but she rejected that offer and just relinquished. Obviously, Zaria, livid, walked away, really frustrated, because, I mean, that's not a friend, is it? That's not a friendly thing to do. She would rather just give away the championship than have her friend defend it on her behalf. There was people in the chat going, that's going to need some explaining. And I think that's fair, honestly. I think that's fair. I think it's fair that like that should be explained. Like, why did you choose to do that? I do think there is an explanation. Again, we spoke about this during our live watch along. I think that Sol can turn around and basically say, look, you took a big blow the other day by taking the loss. And obviously we don't have that North American Championship now. And I know you feel really bad about that. I don't want to put you in a situation where you could potentially lose the second title. And, you know, obviously you might go on some downward spiral then. And, you know, I really value our friendship. I would much rather just give up this belt and not put you in that position. I think Sol could explain it that way. I think the fans would buy into that. But we didn't really get that kind of explanation on this show. It might come further down the road. But yeah, this felt like quite a significant moment. Obviously, we're always looking at this relationship. We feel like it's going to split at some point. It's just who's going to turn on who's going to attack who, and when is that going to happen? Right, here's Zaria. This was Zaria's reaction a little bit later. She feels a little bit like Batman in the rain, a little bit like Batman in the storm. So she chose to walk away. We would see them later on in the show, though. Then we got a really great segment again. Tatum came out. Obviously, you deserve it, chance. But Izzy was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. It's took you so long to get to this. No one's happy for you than me. More happy for you than me. Not sure if that's true. But basically, Tatum was like, I know you guys were sad at not getting the wheel. So let's do the wheel now. Let's defend the belt later in the show. And we'll see, use the wheel to see who it's against. Izzy was like, what? Izzy was like really against it. Even Sean and Nico were not fans of this as an idea, but clearly Tatum is going to do what Tatum wants to do. And this whole dynamic is really interesting. I think there's lots you can get out of this over the coming weeks and months. So we spun the wheel. Round it went. It was Lola that it landed on. We had Zaria, Tyra May Steele. I mean, we had NXT talent. We had Evolve talent. We had LFG talent. So they were all kind of like represented. And interesting, Nikita is listed as being Evolve, not NXT. Tyra May Steele is listed as NXT, which is kind of interesting. And I didn't know that girl, this Danny girl who's LFG. I'm not aware of her. She might have been the one that just won, actually, season 2. But anyway, it landed on Lola, and so that meant we were going to get that match later in the show, even though Izzy and the Cullen didn't really agree with it. Then we had an amazing match. This is one of my favourite matches that I've seen in a little while. I really enjoyed this. Kendal Gray against Lash Legends. I will heap praise on this. I really enjoyed it. I thought Kendal looked really technical in there. There was some really fast-paced action. Loved some of the evasive work. She's got really good movements, Kendal Gray. You know, Lash was throwing shots. She's like, really getting out of the way, going under the rope, sliding in between the legs, running the rope. There was a lovely bit early where she went against that rope and then switched direction, went the other way. The ref was like, whoa. The ref was getting in the way. You just don't know where Kendall's going. It's just this like ball of activity. Lash played her part really well, you know, kind of the big power moves and big boots, and they just worked really well together. So loved the match. You lot said it was great 61%. You lot were a little bit torn as to which was better. Was it that or the main event? I think it's this by a mile. I don't even think it's close. I think this is the best match on the show by a mile. All the stock in Kendal Gray I'm buying. Loving what Lash Legend brought to the table. Vic Joseph spoke about Kendal Gray. He said she could be the future. The way that we talk about Javon Evans, the way we talk about Leon Slater, we could be talking that way about Kendal Gray in the same light. I see it. I think we've got something special with Kendal Gray. I think we've got something really special with Kendal Gray. So I'm buying all the Kendal Gray stock. Then we went to our next match. This one was a bit slow. Lots of headlocks in the early exchanges. And Josh Briggs would end up coming down. This was Tavion Heights against Myles Borne. It did get somewhere good, though. The action did start to grow as the match kind of continued. Josh Briggs, of course, would get involved. So Josh Briggs getting involved there with Tavion, with Myles. The match would continue, though. And actually, Myles would get the kind of clean win. It was as clean as you could hope for in this. I really thought Briggs was just going to interfere and that would be it. But I was really pleased to see they gave it a decisive result. Of course, after that, there was outside interference again. So Briggs got into it with Tavion. And then out of nowhere, Trick attacked Myles. So this could be two feuds that we see going forwards. Briggs, Tavion, and Myles, Trick. I don't think Trick gets the title from Ricky, right? We know that there is a rematch that's going to be happening there. I don't know if Myles gets involved. I don't know if Ricky wins and then we do the Trick Myles kind of feud, but that feels like a direction we could be going for Trick, and that obviously feels like a direction for both of those guys as well. Backstage, I didn't realise it was as soon as this weekend, but that mixed tag match in AAA for the mixed tag titles is going to be taking place this weekend. So Chelsea was chatting away, promoting that with Ethan. Thea Hale walked past just as they were talking about who the new Slagent could be. I wondered if it was going to be Thea for a second, but she walked past and basically just shouted out the name of Joe Hendry. Of course, whenever you do that, Joe Hendry is going to appear. And yeah, I didn't really get why we did this, to be honest. I think it was just a way of maybe getting Joe on the show. It's just like you never know when he's going to pop up. I didn't really get it. But, you know, whatever. It was just a fun way of getting him onto the show, wasn't it? Then we moved on. We went to our next match. This was the Tatum Lola match. Obviously, this match was made earlier thanks to that wheel. You lot said this was good 88. It was really, really short. Basically, Fatal Influence come down to the ring during the match. They attack Izzy. Tatum didn't do anything about that. Instead, she and Lola were surrounded by Fatal Influence. And so the end result is, of course, that we actually had a 6-person tag match being made. So, yeah, we had a big brawl kind of breakout, and a 6-person tag match was announced for, I believe, next week. So Fatal Influence attacking Tatum and Lola. The title match is thrown out. So we didn't get anywhere with the match, unfortunately. It was just like a no contest, which was a bit frustrating. But there we go. Blake Monroe said her first title defense is going to be in New York City. She's going to defend that Women's North American Championship. Obviously, at this point, we don't know who that's going to be against. There we go. Next Tuesday, 6-woman tag match. Tatum, Izzy, and Lola taking on Fatal Influence. Outside, we also had Zaria saying that she wanted to enter the Women's Speed Tournament because she wants to win that title back for herself and Sol RUCA. I thought this would have been a really good moment for Sol to have explained why she didn't have Zaria defend that belt on her behalf. She didn't. Instead, we just had Zaria saying that she's going to go into that tournament. She's going to try and win it back. I mean, I like this. It's a story to follow, isn't it? I mean, Sol had 2 belts. Now she's got no belts. Zaria is responsible for losing one of those. She wants to now try and get the second one back for both of them. I'm guessing she's going to fail in that, would be my guess. Then we get to our main event. So the crowd were chanting TNA, NXT. And it did make me wonder in TNA, would the TNA fans be doing that? I don't understand why the NXT fans are happy to chant NXT. TNA, NXT, TNA. I don't think they would do that in TNA. I don't think TNA fans would be doing that kind of split chant. So, don't know. Strange. But in a match like this, it's a little difficult to tell which one either side is meant to represent, said Slamex. It's true. I mean, like, Jordan is obviously kind of very connected with TNA. She is the former TNA Knockouts champion. She obviously here was kind of more, well, representing NXT. And then you got Kelani. She is an NXT superstar, but she's the TNA Knockouts champion. It was a bit weird. It is weird having the TNA Knockouts championship being defended between 2 NXT superstars. But that's what we did. And, you know, the match was carrying on. And it was okay. I thought it was a little bit sloppy in a few places. There was a little slip in there by Jordan in the corner. There's a couple of little moves that didn't really make sense to me. There was a couple of nice things in there as well, though. But Ricky and Trick would come back out. They would be brawling in the ring. They would be fighting away. That distraction meant that Kelani could grab a belt and use it. This is an official heel turn by Kelani. She gets the victory thanks to using that championship belt. And it's funny because we were just chatting in the chat about how she was a bit kind of middle of the road. Big Time Baxter was saying she feels very vanilla. We need to do one or the other thing with her. Having her in the middle just isn't helping. And then boom, in this exact match, they do pull the trigger. So I like it. I'm a big fan of it. Thumbs up from me. I'm pleased that we're actually doing something there. And then we got to this. This was obviously Trick and Ricky were still brawling away. And it led to this moment right here. Bang! Driving him through. It's not the best looking spear. Like, it's not really a spear, really. It kind of bundles him into it. But, you know, it's always cool when they go through that platform. So, yeah, you know, with Kelani using the belt, very quickly followed by this, very quickly followed by Ava announcing that we're going to do a last man standing match for the championship between Trick and Ricky. This kind of carnage can't continue. So we're going to do a last man standing match coming up. It was a big couple of minutes to kind of end NXT. So, yes, there's been a few mid-shows from WWE recently. I think this had some great wrestling on it. Certainly the Kendal Lash match. It had some talking points with the Zaria Sol RUCA stuff, and a few other little bits that were in there. Some kind of new feuds potentially being shown. Tatum and her excitement for being champion and the way she's going to kind of do things on her own term. There was so much in here that I enjoyed. Not everything landed, but I thought this was a real successful show. So, yeah, enjoyed it. Thumbs up from me. Good stuff. And that was the NXT breakdown.